the idea of the misogi is that we're going to keep pushing that boundary and keep learning ourselves of what we're capable of.
Yeah. I also like it because there's that I forget the name of it, but that effect of like, you buy a red car and then suddenly you're gonna
Mm.
see a bunch of red cars out there, right? Because your mind is tuned to it, right? And so there's a name for that effect, I just forget it. But when you're doing these hard things, your mind is gonna look for challenges in the world and not view them as impossible or not view them as things that are bad for you. In fact, challenges are good for us, right? Going back to the idea of like the comfort crisis and the fact that, yeah, like we live pretty cushy lives compared to our ancestors. And so the more we can train our brains to not only be be more comfortable with hardship, but actually seek it out. I don't know. I feel like, why not? Like why would if you do the opposite, I don't think that's good, right? Like if if you're able to handle hardship and be more resilient, I don't see how that's a bad thing.
100% agree with you. I think it should be taught from childhood, you
Right.
know?
So, and that's a great point, right? Because how many kids do you have? You have a bunch.
5,
You have five. Yeah. Okay. So I have
5 kids.
quote unquote only two, but they watch us, right? Like
Mm.
they see what we're doing and they hear what we're doing. And so no, like my kids aren't coming with me on long runs, but they know that I'm out doing them. And they know, another one we did was a 24-hour row. Now that was on a team. So I didn't, personally row 24 hours, but we rotated through. And my kids came and they saw me doing it. And yes, they see, normal workouts at the gym anyway, which I love them to witness. But these specific things that they hear about, they talk about. Like, I know that they've told their friends because their friends will, you know, mention to me, reflect back to me that I am running through the middle of the night for, different misogis. And yeah, I mean, that's just like the classic idea of being a role model for what we want to instill in kids, you know, working hard,
My
putting
best
effort
memories
in.
my best memories from the misogis are crossing that finish line and having my wife and kids there and them
Yeah.
seeing just the raw emotions. Like, I'm not a very emotional guy, but like at the end of a misogi, it's emotional. And
Mhm.
having them there is just the best feeling because they see the end result of all those, the hard work of the runs that you went out and did, of, the desserts that you skipped or the specific meal that you put together. They see that hard work and then they see the culmination of that. And that's just the best feeling as a father.
Yeah, I agree with that. Right, if they yeah, if especially if they're at, like, different checkpoints and they're seeing you, and then
Mhm.
they drive to the next one, and then you're running and you meet them, and it's for you as the runner, for you as the athlete, it's, like, so invigorating and gives you that life and that energy in the middle of the run or the challenge, and then, yeah, certainly at the end. And then look,
You
like,
did a,
that's their normal, right? Like, it's just normal to do push-ups and pull-ups and burpees and run long distances and swim and jump and climb, and that's what they know.
and you did a 4x4x48, right?
That was my most recent one. Yeah, so the end of, last year, 4 by 4 by 48, which I know you've done too. That's yeah, like, getting up in the middle of the night, running 4 or so miles, and coming back, taking a shower, getting a quick nap, and then going out and doing it again,
Yeah. So I
rinse
was
and
going to say
repeat.
on that one, my wife and kids joined me on some of those runs because they're
Nice.
4 miles. And so the kids would take the bike, or my wife would have them in
Yeah,
the stroller,
yeah.
but they went out for at least one or two of them. And so that
Wow.
was always like such a inspiring moment because, like, obviously most of them out there by myself in the dark and alone. But then those few times that they
Yes.
came out and like they're smiling, they're laughing, and like you're like, oh, this is just the best.